Have you ever heard of Joan of Arc, the French maiden who led an army? Of course you have. But what if I told you there was another warrior woman, a leader who defended her city with incredible courage, centuries before Joan was even born? Her story, tragically, has been largely lost to time. Today, we're going to change that. We're journeying back to the 8th century, to the city of Saragossa in modern-day Spain, to uncover the tale of its own warrior maid, a figure who could be called the true Joan of Arc of the Muslim conquests. This isn't just a story about a forgotten hero. It's a story about how history is written and who gets left out. Our tale begins in the year 778. The powerful ruler of the Franks, Charles the Great, better known as Charlemagne, is marching his vast army south across the Pyrenees Mountains and into the Iberian Peninsula. At this time, much of Iberia, known as Al-Andalus, was under Muslim rule. Charlemagne's goal was expansion, seeking to create a buffer zone against the Umayyad Caliphate of Cordoba. His campaign had seen some success. He'd taken cities like Barcelona and Girona. Now his sights were set on the grand prize of the north, the magnificent city of Saragossa. At the time, Saragossa was a bustling hub of culture and trade, governed by Suleiman al-Arabi. But here's where the politics get complicated. Suleiman had actually invited Charlemagne, promising to pledge allegiance to him in exchange for help against his rival, the Emir of Cordoba. It was a classic, the enemy of my enemy is my friend situation. However, when Charlemagne's massive army appeared before the city walls, something went wrong. The deal fell apart. The gates of Saragossa, which were supposed to swing open in welcome, remained firmly shut. Accounts differ on why. Perhaps Suleiman got cold feet, realizing the Frankish army was a bigger threat than the emir. Or maybe the people of Saragossa themselves refused to submit to a foreign Christian king. Whatever the reason, Charlemagne, feeling betrayed, did what any powerful medieval ruler would do. He laid siege to the city. This is where our story truly ignites, and where our heroine steps onto the stage of history. The city was in peril. The people of Saragossa, a mix of Muslims, Christians, and Jews, faced starvation and the wrath of one of Europe's most formidable armies. Morale was plummeting. The city's defenders were losing hope, believing their fate was sealed. They were ready to surrender. And then a voice rose above the despair. From the highest tower of the city, a young woman robed in white appeared. We don't know her name. History, cruel as it is, has erased it. She is known to us only as the Warrior Maid of Saragossa, but her actions speak louder than any name. She addressed the demoralized citizens and soldiers below. She spoke not of surrender, but of defiance. She reminded them of their faith, their courage, and their duty to protect their homes and families. She wasn't a queen or a noblewoman. She was one of them, a commoner. Yet she spoke with the authority of a prophet and the fire of a general. Her words, carried on the wind, were like a spark landing on dry tinder. Hope, which had all but died, was rekindled. Inspired by her electrifying speech, the defenders of Saragossa found new strength. They resolved to fight to the last person rather than surrender their city. But she didn't just inspire with words. This mysterious maiden armed herself, donning armor and taking up a sword. She wasn't just a symbol, she became a combatant. She led the defense from the front lines, fighting on the city walls alongside the men. She was a whirlwind of action, a beacon of courage in the chaos of battle. Her presence was a constant source of inspiration. If this young woman could face down Charlemagne's elite soldiers without flinching, how could they, the city's protectors, do any less? She became the heart and soul of the resistance. Every time the Franks launched an assault, she was there, rallying the defenders, repelling the attack, and proving that the spirit of Saragossa would not be broken. Charlemagne was stunned. He had expected a quick and easy victory. Instead, his powerful army was being held at bay by a determined city, fired up by a single, unknown woman. The siege dragged on for over a month. His losses mounted, his supplies dwindled, and news from back home grew worrying. A Saxon rebellion was brewing in the north, demanding his attention. Frustrated and outmaneuvered, not by a great general, but by the indomitable will of a city led by a girl, Charlemagne made a decision. He cut his losses. He abandoned the siege of Saragossa. The greatest king in Christendom had been defeated, not by a rival monarch, but by the spirit of a city, embodied by its warrior maid. As Charlemagne's army retreated back through the Pyrenees, they were ambushed by Basque forces in the pass of Roncevaux. This is the famous battle that inspired the epic poem, The Song of Roland, one of the most important works of French literature. In that poem, the enemies are portrayed as Saracens from Saragossa, seeking revenge. While historically inaccurate, it was the Basques, not Muslims from Saragossa. The poem immortalized the city as a formidable foe. And what became of our heroine? This is the most tragic part of the story. After the siege was lifted and the city was saved, she seems to vanish from the historical record. We don't know if she survived the fighting or if she simply faded back into the anonymity from which she came. Her name, her face, her ultimate fate, all lost to the mists of time. Her story survives in fragments, in old Arab chronicles and Christian poems that allude to a maid of Saragossa who saved her city. Unlike Joan of Arc, whose trial records and letters give us a detailed picture of her life, our warrior maid remains an enigma. She didn't have a king to champion her cause or scribes to document her every move. She was a hero of the people, and her memory lived on in the hearts of those she saved, rather than in the official histories written by the powerful. Why isn't her story as famous as Joan of Arc's? The answer is complex. History is often written by the victors, and in the long run, Christian Europe won the narrative. The stories they chose to tell, like The Song of Roland, often twisted events to fit their own worldview. A story about a Muslim or religiously diverse city successfully defying a great Christian king, led by a heroic woman from their own ranks, didn't fit that narrative. It was easier to forget her, to let her name fade away, and to focus instead on heroes that better represented their own values and ambitions. But her legacy is a powerful reminder that heroes come from anywhere, at any time. She proves that courage isn't tied to a title, a gender, or a specific faith. It's a fire that can burn in anyone's heart. The Warrior Maid of Saragossa stood up when everyone else was ready to kneel. She faced down an emperor and won. She saved her city through sheer force of will and became a legend, even if her name was lost. So the next time you hear the story of Joan of Arc, remember that nearly 700 years earlier, another young woman clad in white stood on a different wall, faced a different emperor, and showed the world what true courage looked like. She is the forgotten hero of Saragossa, and her story deserves to be told. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of forgotten history. Let me know in the comments who you think is an unsung hero that we should cover next. See you in the next video.